Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've officially hit the part of the offseason where notable headlines and interesting news has begun to slow down, and the dreaded dead zone of basketball summer is upon us. Of course, there are still a few big storylines still playing out, but overall, the dust is starting to settle, and we're getting a good idea of how each team is going to look for the new season. With that being the case, we're going to be doing a little thing called Rankings Week here on the channel for the next week, where we'll be going through all 5 positions, and we'll be ranking the starter at each from all 30 NBA teams. First up, you guessed it, today we'll be ranking the point guards, so strap in because this is an absolutely loaded position, filled with all-star caliber talent almost from top to bottom. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. We'll be starting from the bottom and working our way up to the number 1 spot, so at number 30, we have Yegor Demin of the Brooklyn Nets. Demin's coming in as a rookie who was just drafted in the lottery, and his 1 year at BYU in college was shaky at best. He has intriguing potential as a taller lead guard with strong passing instincts, but scoring the ball is probably going to look ugly early on, and he's going to need a few years of development before he's a plus on the court consistently. Next at number 29, we have Jeremiah Fears of the New Orleans Pelicans. Fears was actually selected 1 pick ahead of Yegor Demin in this year's draft, and like him, is incredibly raw right now. Fears is oozing with natural playmaking talent, and his feel for the game and willingness to take risks lead to a lot of fun highlights, but he was one of the least efficient and most turnover-prone players in college last year, and especially early on in the NBA, we'll likely see a lot of the same from him. Next at number 28, we have Bub Carrington of the Washington Wizards. Bub is someone who you can tell wants to compete at the highest level and brings a bit of tenacity every time he's on the court, but he still has a lot to learn. He's shown flashes of useful pick-and-roll navigation with a nice pull-up jumper, but his overall decision-making and lack of efficiency just aren't there yet. Next at number 27, we have Isaiah Collier of the Utah Jazz. Collier is an aggressive driver and finisher at the rim who attacks with purpose and can get into the paint consistently. He also showed during his rookie season that his court vision and passing instincts are more advanced than most players of his age, and he had 11 double-doubles to show for it. He can be a useful lead guard down the line, but until his horrific three-point jumper improves, he remains near the bottom of this list. Next at number 26, we have Kevin Porter Jr. of the Milwaukee Bucks. Porter Jr.'s NBA career has been a wild ride to this point, and somehow he finds himself in the driver's seat to land the starting point guard job for Milwaukee this season. KPJ was once a 19-point-per-game scorer in Houston, with a crafty handle and a fluid ability to separate and get shots off, but now he's working back from square one, and his overall decision-making, inefficiency, and defensive woes will become a lot more glaring in the starting lineup of a team with playoff aspirations. Next at number 25, we have Mike Conley of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Conley's a former All-Star who has put together a long and successful NBA career who, in his prime, was an incredibly steady presence, producing consistently year in and year out. In the year 2025, though, Conley's best days are way behind him, and he's barely even a starting point guard anymore. He still knocks down 41% of his threes, and provides a calm veteran presence next to Anthony Edwards in the backcourt, but his usage decreases every year, and his career may be coming to an end soon. Next at number 24, we have Dennis Schroeder of the Sacramento Kings. Schroeder is a longtime journeyman who has played for a lot of different teams in his 12-year career, and at every stop, he's typically brought strong secondary playmaking and infectious energy, but realistically, he's always been better as a sixth man than he's been as a starting point guard, so the Kings going out and signing him to a pretty hefty contracting free agency to make him their new starting point guard may end up being a questionable decision. Next at number 23, we have Fred VanVleet of the Houston Rockets. VanVleet is an NBA champion who overcomes his smaller stature to still compete hard on the defensive end while providing useful veteran leadership to a young Rockets team and scoring in bunches when he gets hot. He's also coming off of the worst year he's had since his rookie season though, shooting it pretty awfully and seeing a reduction in his scoring output overall, so even though he has the pedigree you have to respect, his struggles cannot be overlooked either. Next, number 22, we have Immanuel Quickley of the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors took a gamble when they signed him to a contract just shy of max value, and so far it hasn't paid off for them. He's, funnily enough, a very fast ball handler living up to his last name, and he utilizes floaters and soft touch in the paint to finish well and with averages of about 17 points and 6 assists per game. He's someone who has the talent to have occasional explosive nights, but unfortunately for him, the point guard position is easily the strongest of the 5 in the league, so his numbers still fall behind a lot of the rest of the pack. Next at number 21, we have Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic. Suggs is a dog on the defensive end of the floor who is easily one of the best perimeter defenders in the game at his best, and was nominated to the All-Defense team 2 seasons ago to solidify that. Last season was a turbulent one for him though, because he missed over half of the season due to injury, and his overall shooting efficiency took a hit, but he posted a career-high 16 points per game, playing more aggressively overall. So he's a winning player that does the dirty work, that contributes to the Magic being a top defensive unit, but offensively, he's not nearly as prolific as most other starting point guards. Next at number 20, we have Jalen Green of the Phoenix Suns. Before the entire comment section repeats the same thing over and over again, let me say that I am well aware that Jalen Green is not a point guard, but the Suns don't really have a point guard right now. Green and Devin Booker will be the team's starting backcourt this year, and conflicting reports have come out about who the lead ball handler will be, so I kept Devin Booker at his natural shooting guard position for these lists, and had to put Green on this point guard list. Green's been one of the most inconsistent players in the entire league since he's been drafted, with highs that will make you think he can be a star, and lows that will have you pulling your hair out, but the hope is that with a fresh start in Phoenix, he can start to level up. Next at number 19, we have Josh Giddey of the Chicago Bulls. Giddey being traded to Chicago rejuvenated his career, and while he is still technically a restricted free agent, everything seems to be pointing towards the Bulls retaining him. Giddey's back to being a walking triple-double threat. He steadily got better and better as the season progressed last year, dominating the month of March and helping the team make it into the play-in tournament, and if three-point shooting can continue falling at the rate that it did this past season, he may see a big leap on this list by next year. Next at number 18, we have Drew Holiday of the Portland Trail Blazers. Holiday is coming to Portland ready to help guide their young backcourt players with a bit of veteran NBA champion wisdom. He's still one of the best perimeter defenders in the game even at 35 years old, and even though his numbers in the box score have been slipping in each of the last few seasons, his impact still goes beyond the box score. Next at number 17, we have Derek White of the Boston Celtics. White is a jack-of-all-trades guard that genuinely plays with no ego out on the floor and does whatever is required of him at all times. Some nights he'll explode for a big scoring night, launching threes and burying teams from beyond the arc. Some nights he'll be more of a passer, getting everyone involved. He's always locked up on defense, and he always manages to be involved in big moments making the right reads. He may not be an all-star caliber guy, but he's a flat-out winner that makes the Celtics better on both ends of the floor. Next at number 16, we have Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat. Again, Hero may not be a point guard by nature, but after the offseason that the Heat just had, he's going to be thrust into their lead ball handling duties, playing next to Norman Powell in the backcourt. Hero's coming off of his first All-Star nomination, scoring 24 points per game, but the Heat's offense craters a bit with him as the number 1 option, and realistically is better as a number 2 or 3, and him falling to the middle of the pack just speaks to how stacked this position really is. Next at number 15, we have LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets. Ball's career has definitely disappointed so far after having been named an All-Star in his second season back in 2022. Since then, he's barely been able to stay on the court, struggling mightily with injuries, and when he has played, he's proven he can be one of the most prolific playmakers with unlimited shooting range and creative ball handling skills matched by very few. But he's also been wildly inefficient, his play has not been conducive to winning basketball games, and he's been a liability on defense, so he still has immense talent, but I can't justify ranking him any higher at the moment until he starts actually impacting meaningful games. Next at number 14, we have Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. When Garland is at his best, the Cavaliers are a nightmare of a team to face, and it showed this past season when the team finished as the 1 seed and had the number 1 ranked offense in the NBA, thanks in large part to Garland getting back to leading confidently and being named an All-Star for his playmaking skills. He's had his fair share of playoff struggles though, and with how much talent there is left on this list, nitpicks like that are what separate him from maybe the top 10. Next at number 13, we have Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets. Murray's always one of the most difficult players to rank on a list like this because he's never been named an All-Star in his career, and yet he's also proven to be someone who can rise to the occasion and play like one of the best guards in the game in big moments. He's a champion, and no one will ever deny his work during that run, but since that 2023 title, Murray hasn't had as many heroic playoff outings, and without that kind of rise, he's just not a top 10 point guard with a career-high scoring output of just 21 points per game. Next at number 12, we have Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers. Maxey's season last year was tough because he ended up being thrust into a position where he had to carry the load with Joel Embiid and Paul George missing most of last season injured, and with all of the attention of the defense being on him, his shooting efficiency took a bit of a hit. He's still a dangerous slasher who uses his blistering speed to blow by defenders, and scoring 26 points per game, ranking in the top 10 of the league in scoring is no small feat, but he'll need to get back to knocking down threes at an above average clip and cut back on his turnovers to maybe crack the top 10. Next at number 11, we have De'Aaron Fox of the San Antonio Spurs. Fox's game is actually somewhat similar to Maxey's in that he's another lead guard who has insanely fast speed on the ball and generates transition opportunities with ease. He may not be very consistent from the three-point line, but he's a much better passer and defender than Maxey is, and now playing with Victor Wembanyama and a much improved Spurs squad should result in a playoff run, so big things could be brewing here after the team just signed him to a massive Supermax contract extension. Now to start off the top 10 point guards, we have Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. At his best, Morant was one of the best point guards in the entire league, garnering a few MVP votes in 2022 and 2023. He's a high-flying transition maestro who relentlessly gets to the rim at will, but after a shoulder injury held him out of most of the 2024 season, he didn't quite come back last year playing at the same level he was at before. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that his slip in production was injury-related, and now with a new head coach in Memphis, he should be able to get back to being in that elite conversation he was previously in, but until then, he barely cracks the top 10 here. Next at number 9, we have Kyrie Irving of the Dallas Mavericks. Unfortunately, Kyrie is going to miss a lot of this upcoming season due to the fact that he tore his ACL late last season, but he's still one of the league's most dangerous shot creators at 33 years of age, and his handles are all-time great. He's one of the most efficient volume scorers in the game, and throughout his career, he's established himself as a legend through it all, so even though the injury is going to be a setback that may impact his production for a bit, I still think he can return to the level he's been at for a few more years. Next at number 8, we have James Harden of the Los Angeles Clippers. Harden has proven a lot of doubters wrong over the last few seasons, aging like a fine wine and transitioning into a full-time playmaker at point guard after being one of the most deadly scoring talents in the league for years. He's been in the top 5 of the league in assists per game 5 years in a row now, with averages of 23 points and 9 assists per game last year. He was holding down the fort last season, keeping the Clippers afloat in the playoff picture when Kawhi Leonard was out injured, proving he he's still one of the most impactful playmakers in the game with more to give. Next at number 7, we have Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Young might be the most underrated point guard in the league at this point, who consistently gets discredited by fans and the media alike for his struggles on defense, but on offense, there is no denying he's on a different level as a playmaker. He just led the NBA in assists per game, dishing out 11.6 a night. He also gives you 24 points per game, threatening defenses from all 3 levels, and now with real firepower around him after a strong offseason by Atlanta, the Hawks should be in the mix at the top of the Eastern Conference, with Trae leading the charge. Next up at number 6, we have Tyrese Haliburton of the Indiana Pacers. I wanted to put Haliburton in the top 5 so badly after the incredible run that he just led the Pacers on, but I can't ignore the brutal Achilles tear that he suffered in Game 7, potentially impacting his game moving forward, along with the potential reality that he may not be able to repeat the run that he just went on ever again. Haliburton is without question one of the best passers the league has to offer right now. He's not afraid of any moment, proving he's as clutch as it gets down the stretch of big games, and I just can't wait to see him back on the court in 2 years. Next up at number 5, we have Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham started to look every bit like a superstar in the making this past season, putting the Pistons offense on his back, doing everything to make that engine run. Cade ranked 7th in the NBA in scoring, averaging 26 points. He ranked 4th in assists, dishing out about 9 per game, and even grabbed 6 rebounds per game as well, giving him some of the most well-rounded production of anybody. He's a one-man wrecking crew who can single-handedly take over a game and secure wins, and I wouldn't be surprised if his prime had him in MVP conversations in a few years. Next at number 4, we have Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. I know it's weird seeing Curry this far removed from the number 1 spot after being at the top of these rankings for a very long time, but the truth of the matter is that Steph Curry is no longer the top dog like he used to be at 37 years old. He can still single-handedly win games with flamethrower shooting nights others aren't capable of, and he's still a relentlessly hard worker with his off-ball movement and deep shooting range, but he didn't even shoot above 40% from 3 this last year, and he's really starting to lose a step on the ball with his ability to separate. Next up at number 3, we have Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. Brunson is now solidified amongst the elite and rises in the playoffs like very few others have shown capable. He proves you can dominate the game of basketball without needing elite athleticism or top-tier speed because of his mastery of the fundamentals, unbeatable footwork, devastating use of body feints and fakes, and the ability to stay balanced and under control playing off 2 feet at all times, giving defenders nightmares. And he led the Knicks to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years, behind 10 30-plus point games and 2 40-plus point games in the playoffs. Next at number 2, we have Luka Doncic of the Los Angeles Lakers. Doncic has been one of the best point guards in the NBA since his 2nd season, and the video game numbers he puts up game after game have never really been done before by someone his age. He struggled a bit with injuries last season, and getting traded to the Lakers took some time to adjust to, but even his quote-unquote down years exceed almost everybody else's best years. So now, with Los Angeles fully dedicated to building around him, I expect him to be the 30-point per game walking triple-double again like he's been several seasons prior. And finally, the title of best point guard in the NBA right now belongs to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's no denying it anymore. Shai has checked every box necessary to claim this title. He's the reigning MVP of the league, he led his Thunder squad to win the first championship in franchise history, and he took home the Finals MVP to cement an all-time great season from a guard. And with him still being just 27 years old, this is just the beginning of his prime, so even more dominance is coming in the near future. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below how you would rank the league's starting point guards right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.